It's the Manly Sea Eagles versus the Melbourne Storm.
And thank you everybody for joining us here live on NRL Sunday, NRL Easter Sunday today, in front of a big crowd here still building up at Brookvale Oval, as you would expect. With the form the Manly Sea Eagles have shown to begin 2005, you'd expect a big crowd here, and we'll see if the girls are dancing for the 80 minutes of this clash against the Melbourne Storm, who have to be the best performed team to begin this new season. They have been in fantastic form, 2 big wins. First up against the Newcastle Knights, and then of course last week at Wollongong against the Dragons. Their forward pack today is Kearns, of course, the captain, Smith, White, Kidwell, Hoffman and Johnson, who has been in dynamic form himself, and their bench is Kafusi, Turner, Cronk and Ian Donnelly, a former Dragon and last year of course a former Sea Eagle himself, will be an inclusion for the Melbourne Storm for the first time in 2005. But Manly have been a much improved outfit to begin this new season. Their backline today is Stewart, Donald, Steve Matai will make his debut for Manly. Stevenson and Creary with Witt and Monahan make up the backline. The forward pack is Kite, Randall, Heckenberg, Menzies, Watmough and Kennedy. They were very impressive last week here, of course, against the Sharks. Williamson, Dunley, Harris and Lulawai will be the bench for the Sea Eagles. Laurie Daly is joining me in commentary today, and Laurie, will see if this Manly side's defence, which is so improved in 2005, can hold up against this Melbourne Storm attacking machine.
Well, they look pretty confident. Speaking to Des Hasler before the game, he believes that his side's ready for the occasion. They really believe that the Melbourne Storm are one of the best teams in the competition. They want to see where they sit at this stage. And Melbourne, I mean, they have been great in their first 2 weeks. There has been a question mark by some people whether that form will hold up. Newcastle were very disappointing. The Dragons were a little bit disappointing. I think we're in for a great game here this afternoon.
Yes, that certainly is true. Both teams they have beaten haven't started the year well, and we will see if this form of the Melbourne Storm is perhaps a little bit better on paper than it might have been in reality. But today is a good test for both these sides. They'll know exactly where they stand to begin this new season. They come out here to, as you would expect, almost deathly silence from the parochial Manly crowd. There is a good portion, though, of Melbourne Storm fans here, and they like what they see in their hooker, Greg Alexander, of this man, Cameron Smith.
Yeah, look, Cameron Smith, an 80-minute player, and that's the first bonus for the Storm. They don't have to carry another hooker on the bench. 35 tackles last week, which is about the sort of workload he gets through in a match. He threatens around the ruck with the ball. He's got a very good understanding with Matt Orford. And what he does off the Storm is something pretty rare in the game. He's got a very good left foot kick out of dummy half. He's just one of the many key players in this Melbourne lineup.
Yeah, 40-20 danger, as of course is Matt Orford. Michael Monahan leads out the Sea Eagles. They've had some very big off-season buys, of course. Ben Kennedy and Brent Kite in the forward pack have added so much starch to this Manly defensive line especially, and they'll be hoping to cheer them on throughout the 80 minutes of this game today. It is a warm afternoon. Steve Menzies, of course, scored a try last week, which made it 150 in the season, or rather in his career. And Brent Kite, well, we'll see if he can cause some havoc in this Melbourne Storm forward pack today.
He's been great for the Eagles this season, switching over from George Illawarra last year. Still only a young man, 24 years of age, and last week was very solid in the middle of the park for the Manly side. Look to him today for a big game along with Ben Kennedy. They know that the game is won in the middle of the park against this Melbourne Storm side. They have to win the battle of the ruck, and Steve Clark, 244th first grade game.
It is Cameron Smith who will get us underway. The Sea Eagles defending the southern end of Brookvale to get us into action today on Easter Sunday. The kickoff will come down to Monahan, who gives it to Brent Kite, and he's met up there by Hill and Kidwell to get this one underway. Good tackle on Kite, who is slow to get back to his feet there. Watmough works on the left-hand side of the second row, with Menzies patrolling that right-hand side for Manly. Randall, who was good at a dummy half last week, gives it to Heckenberg, who was also impressive against the Sharks. They played, of course, 50 minutes of that game with just 12 men after the send-off of John Hopewadi, as Kennedy takes it across the 30. Randall will give it to Monahan, who took it to the line. He put his support player under pressure, and Michael Witt, he will be picked up by a host of Melbourne players. Smith, Hoffman, Orford were all there to stop him at the 30, and then a little bit of a push and shove between two of the playmakers as Orford comes to Menzies. He pops it over the top to Matai, who defends on that right-hand side and attacks as well in position the Terry Hill would normally be in. They've turned it over early here inside their own 40, and now Kearns has it in good position for the Storm.
It'll be interesting to see whether Manly continue to opt down that side of the field, running the ball on fifth play. You mentioned the fact no Hopewadi, no Terry Hill. They attack down that right edge. Also be interesting with the Melbourne Storm to see if they go to their left, try and attack this new combination.
Here's Orford giving it to Hoffman. Scored a good try against the Newcastle Knights to get them underway in that particular game, as it comes now from Hill to Kidwell. Bell outside, who certainly can find the try line. He's picked up a couple already, Steve Bell. Orford and Slater themselves have scored 4 tries in 2 games. Hill turning it on the inside to Bell, who looks for the line and will reach out and plant the ball down. He picks up try number 50 in his career, and the Melbourne Storm, first chance they get inside the Manly 20, come up with points.
A lovely cross play there by Scotty Hill onto Steve Bell. People say he's underrated. He's not underrated. He is a player on the verge of playing representative football, Stephen Bell. Got a tremendous strike rate. Scores plenty of tries for the Melbourne Storm team. A worrying sign for Manly. They opened up, they overchased, they overcommitted. And this is the type of football that has seen the Storm lead the competition in points for this season, scoring more tries than any other team. And they get out of the block so well.
Well, the Seagulls had plenty of numbers there in defence, but Bell was able to find a way through them. It was a simple ball back on the inside.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yet another 4-pointer in his career. What a strike rate he has. And now Cameron Smith to convert from a fairly simple angle as well for the left footer. He'll take the conversion attempts and penalty goals, you would think, from this side of the field. And as has been the pattern, Matt Orford will take the attempts from the left-hand side of the field as the Melbourne Storm look at things. No mistake from Cameron Smith, and the Melbourne Storm pick up where they left off last week against the Dragons. What a start, Greg. 6 points to 0.
Against the Knights, they scored 16 points in the first 12 minutes. They did the same thing against the Dragons last week, so that's another great start. It'll be interesting to see how Manly bounce back from this. Stephen Bell, you spoke about him being underrated. Look, he's big, he's quicker than a lot of people think, and that's his 3rd try for the season. Great strike rate.
Yep. And Michael Witt with the kickoff, not a deep one. It will come down to Slater. He gets his first touch. Robbie Kearns it is, who's met there by Kites and also Randall. They drag him back about 5 metres as well. He plays it to Smith. Kidwell, it's been a very big pickup for them over the last couple of seasons. Squeezed out of the salary cap position by the Roosters at the end of 2003. Kearns trying to fight back to his feet as Smith goes to Warford. He goes in behind White to give it to Hoffman, this big free-running second rower, really coming into his own in 2005. King, you can say the same thing about him. Now White gets his chance in the starting 13 today with the suspension of Alex Chan. Smith goes down the short side. Last play, half a gap opens up. Here's Johnson now, looking for one more. He dumps it out the back. Kennedy is there for the Seagulls, but it was grabbed by the Storm. A knock-on, though, against Ryan Hoffman. It will be a turnover.
Oh, gee, I thought that might have been play on. 6 again to the Melbourne Storm. He touched the football, looked as though he might have knocked it back. A Manly player struck his foot out, touched the ball, but they give away a penalty.
Get it out.
A relieving one for the Eagles. Been very worrying early in the game. They've been opening up around the middle of the park. 5th play. They were worried about the kick, not worrying about what Cameron Smith was able to do with the football.
We'll see what Manly can do with their first possession on Melbourne side of halfway. Kite will play it to Randall. He comes to Matai. Steps off that right foot to be stopped there by King with the help of Orford. Big chance for him after an impressive display last week in Premier League. Matai scored a couple of tries against Newtown. Here's Witt at first receiver with Monahan on his outside. He runs in behind Watmough. In fact, he changed his mind and straightened at the last moment. Here's Kennedy. The markers worked across. The Manly fans certainly thought they were offside as Randall comes to Monahan. Grubbers for the corner. Dolan was there, but the ball beats everybody over the touch in goal line, and the Melbourne Storm hang on.
Yeah, good play by Michael Monahan coming from the open down the short side. The winger had to stay up for the Melbourne Storm. Unfortunately, there was too much weight behind the kick, but it's the right idea. Keep them thinking.
Tackle one. Move on.
And Johnson it is.
Go.
Whose defence has been quite remarkable to start 2005. It's a copybook technique. Now it's Hoffman working it up towards the 40-metre line. Got worked over in the tackle as well. And the Melbourne Storm are screaming at Stephen Clark, saying if it was good enough at their end of the field to get a penalty, that surely was worth one as well, and they got one. Hoffman taking it up to Witts, who wanted to go on with it. Now Orford comes to Slater as they work it down the left-hand side of the paddock. King tackled around the legs there by Menzies. They've got a full set, though, at close range once again. They scored first time they went inside the 20. We'll see what happens this time as Geyer will play it to Smith. He comes to Warford. They're fanned out to the right-hand side as Hill looks back on his inside to Slater. Manly kept working across their defensive line to have the numbers there. White playing it. Smith from dummy half. There was a chance. And Stewart was forced to come up off his line and make a try-saving tackle as it turned out. White feeds it to Warford. Grubbering for Slater. Still there is Billy, but he was taken across the dead ball line. He got to it, but couldn't get the hands down in time.
Well, it was the bounce that beat him. His pace was there, Billy Slater, but the ball bounced in the air. He had to reach up to get it. Lovely kick by Matty Orford. You could see Slater coming through. The ball was in the air, and great work by Monahan and Stevenson.
It was a close-run thing for Manly yet again. They trailed by 6 after a try in just the second minute to Stephen Bell. Another penalty here against Melbourne. Infringing once more after the tackle was David Kidwell this time. And as Witt finds the line, Manly will have it just inside Melbourne's 40. Another attacking chance for them. They looked dangerous first time around as Monahan controlled things behind the ruck. We'll see what happens this time as Kite will play it. Randall will give it to Monahan. He has Kennedy cutting back on his inside. And the former Newcastle Knight and Raider before that will take it down to within 25 of the line. Randall keeps it going to the right. Witt gives it to Menzies, who takes on the line. There's a good tackle downstairs by Orford, who put his body on the line. Another penalty against Melbourne.
Let him go. Let him go.
Two now to work them down to within 15 of the line as Hackenberg takes it towards the try line. He turns his back looking for an offload, but he's stopped there by Johnson and also White. Randall with Monahan standing wide. Got away from Smith's tackle. Still going. Almost got away from White as well. Monahan might have thought it was high. He looks at the referee. Randall comes to Stewart at first receiver. Blessed with so much natural speed. He's a real talented fullback. 3 tackles gone. They're still just 5 metres away. Monahan will take it again himself to the line, but he's stopped this time by Slater. Randall goes back to the right. Kite gives it to Witt. Not much happening for Manly on that occasion, although the offload presents some dryness. Here's Randall trying to barrel his way over underneath the post. He'll play it back to Witt. Last play for them. Monahan was taken in mid-air, but they were up too quickly. Orford was who came off the line. A third consecutive penalty.
You got it back to the line. Oh, no.
Well, wait. I've got to disagree with that. They were back. It was Manly's fault. Manly were playing very flat. When they're defending the line, when you're right on top of the line, you've got to play with a little bit of depth. They were all inside the 10-metre zone, the Manly attacking players.
Kite will play it a metre away. Randall. Heckenberg almost got caught up with him. Witt gives it to Menzies on this left-hand side. Back on the inside for Stewart. Good tackle made by Johnson sliding across. Randall, as they work it from dummy half. He looks out to try and score. He's short of the try line. Stephen Clark had a good position on it. Stewart fires it to Witt. Flat, short pass here for Kite, who stopped a couple of metres out. The Storm try and number up on that left-hand side of their defensive line. An inside ball for Heckenberg, they will catch them out. He reaches across. The weight of penalties had to tell eventually, and it does. Manly score their first through the front row.
Well, it was good work on the back of repeat sets of 6. I disagree with the referee. I thought he got it terribly wrong. They were just playing very flat, Manly, and the Storm were able to get up off the line. There's the penalty there. You can see Monaghan, he was only 5 metres back from the play the ball. Was always going to be easy target, but from there, weight of possession, a little bit of fatigue. Inside ball, just not covering across quick enough. And Heckenberg going through one-on-one there with Matty Orford. The big man on a little man was always going to be too strong that close to the line. They've hit back on the back of some penalties.
Well, 3 penalties, 1 at their own end and then 2 inside the Melbourne Storm 20. Eventually they had to find a way through. It took some doing though. The Storm's defence had held up for a number of tackles in succession. Witts, an easy angle for him, but he has no problem with it. He converts to tie us up once again here at Brookvale. 6 points.
Yeah, look, they had to take advantage of the possession they had, the Manly side, then good fight back, but they were short on the other side, the Manly Sea Eagles, the Storm, and Billy Slater sprinted up out of the line. He created that inside pass then.
The kick-off from Smith comes down to Monaghan.
What happened, Ern?
We'll give it to Kites. He'll play it just inside the 20 here. Randall comes to Watmough down this short side. They work a similar pattern with most of their kick-off sets. Oh, here's Stevenson being picked up and taken backwards in a strong tackle by Kidwell and also White. Heckenberg, the try scorer. A good run from the front rower off the back of his 4-pointer. Put them going in the right direction. And now Randall with some time and space to move in. Gives it to Watmough. Back to Randall they come. The offloads are hurting the Melbourne Storm at the moment. Manly looking good suddenly off this weight of possession. Or Monaghan just went past the chaser Johnson to put a kick in behind them, picked up by Jake Webster, and Melbourne get the ball for the first time in an age.
Well, Melbourne, they look to be struggling. It is hot conditions. They asked for a drink break here this afternoon at the 20-minute mark. Manly turned them down. But it's just about completing their sets at the moment for Melbourne. They've had no possession. They've only completed 2 out of 5, whereas Manly's been excellent with their ball control. 8 sets, 8 completions, scored a try, and looked dangerous.
Kearns dumps it out the back. It comes to Smith. And then out there in 14 for the Melbourne Storm is Antonio Kafusi as Craig Bellamy goes to his bench for the first time at the 14-minute mark. Geyer, a good run back on the angle. Got past Heckenberg to be stopped by Kennedy. Orford. He comes to Hill. Bell's outside him. He grabs for the in goal, but it will be too big. Stewart happily watches it across the dead ball line, and Manly will bring it back out to their own 20, but the Melbourne Storm picked up big metres in that set of 6.
Well, it's good work by the Melbourne Storm. They went forward, Matty Geyer. And I think in these type of conditions, if it starts to become an open game, all of a sudden the opportunities come down the middle of the park. The forwards start to get a little bit tired. I'm sure that the coaches have got an eye out for that. Anyone that looks fatigued, they'll be looking to get them off the field straight away. You get the feeling it's going to be a tight, close game.
Matai got rattled there by Kafusi and also Kearns as he came in midfield. Randall to Monaghan. Puts it back on the inside here for Watmough, who shrugged away from the tackle there of Kidwell. At the halfway line, Randall will work it to Monaghan, who will kick early in the tackle count over the head of Billy Slater. A well-weighted kick as well. The flying fullback will give it to Guy. They have such confidence, these back 3 for the Melbourne Storm. They will throw passes on top of their own goal line time and time again.
It reminds you about 1999 when they had their back 3 in action. Robbie Ross and Matty Geyer, Craig Smith. They weren't afraid to use the football then, and it took them a long way towards winning that competition. They counter-attack straight away. That's what all the good sides do. They don't see it as a negative set of 6, even though it's been a good kick chase by the opposition.
Here is Kafusi. The Melbourne Storm have had big raps on for the last 18 months or so. Played a number of games last year, but never really cemented himself as a regular top 17 player. And the kick will once again be just too big. There wasn't much in it. They would have had a player trying to trap Mitch Creary in the in-goal area had it stayed in. Kylie Lulawai will come from the bench as Des Hasler makes his first change. And of course, we know what an impact player he can be in the forward pack. He'll race up off the line. Yes, just a shooter style fashion, of course, the new term in rugby league after what we heard from John Hopewadi's case during the week at the judiciary, where he described his tackle last week on Keith Galloway as a shooter, and Kylie Lulawai certainly out of that mode, wants to get up and try and hit ball runners before they get their sight settled, if you like.
And John Hopewadi was in the sheds before the game, talking to the Manly players just before they went out onto the field.
Here's Kennedy playing in midfield. Yes, that was interesting in itself to see Hopewadi in the dressing rooms before they came onto the playing surface itself. Now Witt showing it. Here's Stotts at the 30. Here's Randall going to Monahan, kicking back across the direction of play. Stewart is there, but so is Hill. He got there to keep it just in the field of play. Good work by the 5'8" under pressure from Brett Stewart. They swarm him now to stop Webster. Watmough was there with the help of Lulawai. Here's Bell coming back away from the sideline to give it to Slater. He had Geyer there with him. Still going, Billy Slater. Now there's problems. Only Stewart can stop him going all the way. He comes to the fullback, has a swing and a miss with a kick, and Creary has it for Manly.
Well, he didn't need to do that, Billy Slater, but we spoke about negative sets of 6. The Storm don't think like that. They're always trying to turn a negative into a positive, and on that occasion, they ran the football. Billy Slater upfield, looking to put the ball on the toe for Matty Geyer. Billy Slater, this is why you pay your money to come to the football, to see these types of people. Manly getting back there, good scramble defence.
Dominant ball!
The Melbourne Storm coming up with some defence here on Heckenberg, stopping him at the 45-metre mark. Kennedy works it down the middle of the park. He'll play it back to Randall. He has Witt on his right-hand side. He'll put it high in the air this time. Jake Webster floating back. Will let it bounce, and luckily for him, it bounced over the dead ball line. So the Melbourne Storm would like a 20-minute drinks break at this point in time. As you said, they asked for one before the game. And it is significant because their record in the daytime over the last season and a bit now is much worse in the daylight hours than it is at night time. When playing at night since the beginning of last year, they're 11-4. In the daytime, though, they're just 5-8. So an inferior record when playing in the heat of the day. And it certainly is warm here today.
And that's just a mental barrier that they'll have to overcome. And I'm sure they can do that. They've just got to play a little bit smarter over this middle period of the first half. Maybe try and find a touch, slow the game down to their liking. And the halves have certainly got the ability to speed the game up when they want to, but also to slow it down. You only have to slow it down for a couple of minutes to get your breath back.
Outside 40.
Orford kicking for the in-goal area. Once again, it will trickle over the dead ball line. Their kicking game has been very good in their first 2 wins this year against Newcastle and also the Dragons, but they haven't quite got the depth right here so far today.
No, but that's okay, because Manly are struggling out there as well. It gave the Melbourne Storm team this opportunity that we're talking about, maybe to gather their thoughts, gather their emotions, to slow the game down a little bit.
Stevenson will play it to Randall. It comes to Matto, who put a step on Orford, but he got a hand on him and some help from King to stop him. Here's Witt, turning it back on the inside for Lulawai. Picked up a gain of about 8 or so metres. 2 tackles left in this set. 6 playing 6 still here at Brookvale. The game of the round on NRL Sunday. It has been exciting so far. Here's Watmough playing it for Orford, who will kick, or rather Monahan, who will kick on the last play, and the Storm on the last tackle up inside the 10.
Oh, that's an ordinary penalty by the Melbourne Storm. 5th tackle, giving away a cheap penalty.
Yeah, apart from that.
I think he pulled out a couple of people that weren't even involved in the play there, Stephen Clark.
Just wait.
The marker chased Stephen Bell.
Get rid of that, will you?
What a Manly going to do.
Get rid of
Looks
that
as though
ball.
they're going to keep the ball in play.
Just wait here. Wait this behind you. I'll tell you when. When you're ready.
Here's Watmough running at Hill and also Kidwell. A full set of 6 and just 12 metres away. Randall goes to Monahan, who came to Williamson. quite get their timing right there on that particular play. Witt stands waiting for it now. Gets the second man pass. It comes to Menzies. They slide. There's trouble until the last pass. It went behind Creary, but they were on their heels, the Melbourne Storm defenders on that left-hand side. King was going backwards, and had the pass gone to hand, they would have certainly scored.
It was good hands in the lead-up by the Manly team. They worked the numbers. Menzies lurking out wide. That's their first mistake in 20 minutes of football, Manly. It's been an excellent start by them. They realise that Melbourne Storm have been quick starters in the last 2 weeks.
To try and toe line, I'm making clear calls. The way they get back 10, and if they're in the ruck, they've got to get it. If they hear movement, they've got to go.
It's one on the fifth. It's one on the fifth, you think?
Yes.
I haven't fought with you, mate.
No, it was Dallas Johnson. You've got to get him back, all right?
Now, Steve?
No, you can't.
He had me fooled there too, Steve. Steve Clark, I actually thought he penalised Robbie Kearns, but it was Dallas Johnson.
Keep it locked in there, bind it
He
properly.
made the correct call.
Well, they take it away from the scrum win, and Webster will work it up towards the 20.
Here it is, hold, go.
Here's Kidwell. A warm afternoon. These forwards will be doing it fairly tough here at the moment. Smith comes down this short side. Donnelly is out there. Perhaps get a warm welcome from some of his ex-teammates of last year. Bell to Warford, who bypasses Kafusi. It hits the deck. Off the loose, and under pressure there from Michael Witt. And then Menzies knocks it on as well.
Yeah, that's not a good start by Manly. You look at the difference between the completion rates of both teams. The Storm have had it 10 times, only completed it 5. They have looked dangerous when they've controlled it for those 5.
Boys, make sure you lock in there, bind, arms over. Luke,
Interchange is going to be an important part in today's game for the Melbourne Storm.
Lock it in there, corners out.
Whether we see Craig Bellamy go to the interchange bench and use it fairly heavily in the first half.
Robbie Kearns comes to the bench for his first breather today, as Manly have it. 30 metres out from the Melbourne line. Stevenson playing it. Williamson going down the short side. Met there by Hill, who has been solid on this right-hand side of Melbourne's defensive line. Monahan gives it to Lulawai, who charges at them. He takes them stopping. He gives them some momentum. They're 10 away. Randall, short ball for Watmough. But they were sweating on him. Kafusi and Hill were there to stop him. The ball comes loose. And Steve Clark says there was a hand in there.
That was stripped intentionally.
The string of penalties continue to go against the Melbourne Storm. It's 6-1 now. Here's Lulawai. Randall from David. They went to slip on Marco. The try is low, and he comes up with 4 points for the Sea Eagles.
Well, usually you're worried about Chad Randall down the short side, but you've got to be aware that he'll also try. 5 minutes ago in a similar position, he had a dart, but they held on. Looks as though he may have just lost that there, but they got the penalty, and then getting down low, Chad Randall diving over, scoring the 4-pointer. Just wide at a defender. Scotty Hill too wide. You've got to be tight in this situation when you're defending on your line. He realised it, but it was too late. And when someone gets down low, there's an opportunity, there's a gap there. It's hard to stop Chad Randall, perhaps his first one of the year. Certainly, ball possession is letting Melbourne down at this early stage. But Manly, they've been fantastic in this first 25 minutes.
14 completions from 14 sets. The Sea Eagles to begin this game. The kick is good. And Michael Witt makes it 12-6. A converted try, the difference here. An important 15 minutes coming up here for the Storm. They trailed for the first time in 2005. They led handsomely to begin against the Newcastle Knights. It was the same story at Wollongong last week against the Dragons. They find themselves behind here today, though, at Brookvale. Monahan will give it to Lulawai, who looks up and sees Cooper Cronk out there now as well for the Melbourne Storm, making that tackle in conjunction with Scott Hill. Harris also gets his first touch of the game as he plays it to Brett Stewart. The fullback tries to pinch some metres from dummy half. He was picked off, though, from by Smith, who was working hard for a marker. Here's Watmough again, angling back in behind them. Got to fast play the ball as well. And they had the Melbourne Storm going backwards. Williamson at the halfway line with a good set of 6 from their own try line to start this game, or start this set, Manly. They've taken it 40 minutes away from the Melbourne Storm line, as Monahan's kick will be too big.
He's a good player, Watmough. He's got good leg speed in the back row. He accelerates at the line. He runs to gaps. He's got good leg drive. Been very solidly involved early in the contest here. Got through plenty of work.
So Donnelly it is. Will work it away on the 20-metre restart. Smith from dummy half. Gives it to Glenn Turner, who's been in good form in the first 2 wins of the year for the Melbourne Storm. Doing some solid work off the bench for them. A pass from Smith goes astray again. A couple of passes to that left-hand side haven't found the mark in their last few possessions, as Geyer comes into dummy half. Offloads as well. Nice pass to Donnelly. He got up, and then Luluwai could have been penalised for flopping in over the top there. That was one that could have gone Melbourne's way. Here's Bell. Almost got away from Stevenson's tackle. Finished off by Watmough. He bounces back to his feet, plays it quickly, and Orford will kick for the wing here of Creary. Looking into the sun. King gets there. Creary loses it. King reached out but couldn't get to it. And it should be a goal line dropout here for Manly.
Good kick there by Matty Orford. He jumped from the field of play, Mitch Creary. Didn't control the football. King was coming through and knocking it dead in goal. I'll tell you one thing that Melbourne Storm have missed here this afternoon with Alex Shannon and Dennis Scott. The ability of the forwards, those 2 guys in particular, to tip the ball on. Without those 2 guys in the team, they're just going more one out in the forward, trying to get over the advantage line. Whereas in the last couple of weeks, they've been heavily involved by just tipping the ball on, isolating a player on the edge of the ruck, and then getting a quick play the ball going.
Donnelly runs at Watmough, trying to run over the top of him. The second rower, Stocky, was able to stop him in the same motion. Here is Turner now. Picked up with a tackle involving 4 players. Smith goes to the backs. Cronk at first receiver with Orford on his outside. Hoffman stopping a good tackle there by Menzies. Here's Orford from dummy half. He comes to Hill. He steps away from Watmough, who came up quickly. There was half a gap there. He plays it to Smith. Orford now, grubbering, and well taken by Michael Monahan. It was going to be a dangerous one into the end goal. The captain came up with a nice take.
Great to see Mick Monahan taking that ball. He would have set himself the target today for trying to outplay Matty Orford. He would have enjoyed that. And your skipper has to make the big plays when it's required. He could have easily knocked it on. He could have easily let the ball roll in behind him. But the confidence levels were high. He made an attempt at the play at the ball and come up trumps.
Monahan floating across. It comes to Maddai, and Geyer does well to come in. Realises there was some danger on the outside and snuffed it out.
Done well to make a ball and all tackle. A lot of wingers go low in that situation. But Geyer set his sights on the target, stopped the football. There was no offload. Saved a dangerous situation for the Storm.
Here's Webster picking it up in front of the Melbourne Storm post, and he'll bring it back towards the 20, where he beats the first tackle of Randall, but is stopped there by Luluwai. But there was a flop in over the top, and Melbourne get a much-needed penalty, just their second of the game.
Yep. Well, if they were smart, Melbourne would slow things down with one of their players maybe going down with an injury in front of the kicker, and getting the training staff to come out, just regathering, getting their breath back. They look to be struggling, but they are a dangerous outfit. If they can control the football and get decent field position, as we have seen, they're capable of putting back-to-back tries together.
Robbie Kearns will be back out there in a moment. The captain getting ready to come back on as the Storm will play it here through Hoffman at the Manly 40-metre line. Turner gives it on to Donnelly, who was met in the front on tackle. Once again, down low was a very effective one made by Randall. Smith to Orford, who cuts out Kearns, who is back out there now. He gives it to Cooper Cronk. Good offload to Turner. Danger here for Manly with Bell. He gives it to Webster. Did well to reel it in, but now he's in danger of being pushed over the side. And they get him there as well. A bit of a set-to on the ground as well between a number of players. A little bit fiery there, and then Watmough lashes out and collects Jake Webster, I think it was.
Anthony!
Stephen Clark will have a word to a number of players here, including Anthony Watmough.
You see them going down the short side. Jake Webster didn't seem to be too much in this, and then Watmough comes in, gets third man involved.
Mate, there's no dramas there.
There was?
Mate, no, there wasn't. Listen to me. There was no dramas. I could hear everything the touch judge was saying to you. Yeah. He kept yelling at you, stay out. You kept wanting to... No, you did not.
I might throw a punch at our winger, though.
You're the aggressor in this whole thing. You back out, all right? Now, we're going for a scrum here. Now, cool your heels, hey?
Well, it was crazy play from Watmough, who came in over the top and wanted to start throwing punches at Webster. He could have easily given a penalty away. Instead, he was very lucky that Manly will retain possession here through the scrum feed. Was trying to con everybody, but Michael Monaghan would have nailed it. He said the ball's mine, thank you, Matthew. Stevenson it is. Will work it away for Manly inside the final 10 minutes of this first half. It's the home team in front by 6. Williamson working it to Turner and also Hoffman. Witt from dummy half gives it to Menzies, who spins away from the tackle there of Cronk. He took a chance on offloading, but they did well. Witt got it on to Stewart. Shane Dunley is out there for the Sea-Eagles, working things from dummy half now as Harris backs his way up over the 40-metre line. Both sides have gone to their bench quite a bit in this first half. 5 changes each as Watmough takes a pass from Brent Kite and gets it back into Melbourne Storm territory. Last play here for Manly, and Dunley feeds it to Monaghan. Just a chip in behind them this time, but Guile will take it comfortably on the full and bring it back outside the Melbourne Storm's 30.
Yeah, Shane Dunley's taking part in the game now. He was dangerous out of the dummy half position last weekend against the Sharks. He was getting out of dummy half. He gets across the field. He runs at the line himself. I'm sure the Storm would have spoken about his impact in the games. He's a man to watch out for. Marker defence has got to be solid. Also the edge defenders moving forward.
Yep. Donnelly just outside the Manly 40 when he plays it back to Smith. Here's Orford with Kearns trailing back on the inside. It'll be a dangerous ploy for a defensive outfit because Robbie Kearns a danger to offload to a Slater. Or somebody trailing through, perhaps like a Scott Hill, who makes a mistake here. The pass was behind him and he juggled it and coughed it up, and Brent Kite has it as Stevenson takes it away from dummy half. You see that error count going against the Melbourne Storm 6-1 in this first half to this point as Menzies takes it up towards the halfway line. Dunley loves to pick up the easy metres from dummy half, and this occasion he comes to Sam Harris, who stops at the halfway line. 7.5 left in this first half. Very important for Manly if they could score next here and open up a 2 converted try buffer going to the break. They had a chance in this set of 6 with Monaghan taking it to the line, but he was slammed to ground by Donnelly. Scott Hill has been left behind the play in a bad way.
Got a blood bin.
May have been a head clash there with Monaghan.
Starters, Michael.
He wanted to keep going with the player on the ground close to the play of the ball. Steve Clark had no choice but to blow time off there.
Fifth and last. Taking him out the back. Taking him out the back.
Here's a blood above the left eye there. He came in over the top there, you see, just the back of the head of Monaghan coming into contact with Scott Hill, and he was in a pretty bad way straight away. And they'll try and stop that blood flow, but we'll leave them a man short of the defensive line at the moment, with Hill being treated on the field of play. The kick from Witt sails over the touchline. And so a poor end of the set of 6 for Manly. They would have been thinking about perhaps getting 6 more tackles there if they could find the in-goal area. It wasn't the kick they were looking for.
And he had plenty of time, Michael Witt, to put it where he wanted it to. Just putting it over the sideline on the full.
Hold here, boys. Don't go
Des
early.
Hasler
When you're ready.
could have been real happy with that, but look, they've been very well. They've been very good with their ball control here this afternoon, Manly. Great tackle though by Michael Monaghan. Once again, when something's required, the skipper's coming up with it.
Had some help there from Watmough, and he was good over the top. He's been very strong in defence, Anthony Watmough, in this game, working down this left-hand edge in tandem with Monaghan at times. And Donnelly comes from the field as the Melbourne Storm make another change. They've used up half their replacements with 6 minutes left in this first half, and the ball comes away. Back to Menzies for Manly. Oh, a big chance here. The play of the ball wasn't a great one, but it's play on. Matai takes it down to within 35 metres of the Melbourne line. Dunley gives it to Kite, who will just punch it forward. He runs at Smith, who was also there with the help of Robbie Kearns. A good run from the front rower. Dunley goes quickly. He caught the markers out looking one way. He went the other. Williamson comes back to Kite. He will link up with Harris. He's got Stevenson on his outside, and Stewart was there also, but he'll take the tackle. 15 away. 3 tackles gone. Monaghan rubbering. It bounced up for Dunley, who was able to pick it up and get across the line, but has he scored?
Well, that would have been tackle 4. Just want to check to see if he lost that ball, and if he didn't, how he got to the line, please.
Well, going on Shane Dunley's reaction, he thinks he scored a try. Lovely kick by Monaghan. Going to the line, he had options on the outside, but decided to kick early in the tackle count. That's a tactic that they've continued to use all season. It's a surprise one where they're not expecting it. Looks as though he's onside. Lovely little kick, rebounds off Brett White's hand. Slater comes across. No, that's a try. The momentum has taken him across.
Slater came at the end to try and stop him getting across the line, but he bounced across, and there's no doubt you would think he got the ball down on a couple of occasions there. It looks as though after making contact there, he certainly had the ball on the line on that particular occasion. And this will be a try for Manly, and it will give them a very handy lead heading towards half-time here.
Well, I think they needed to go in with a handy lead, Warren. They've played some exceptional football in the first 40 minutes and only had 12 points to show for it. Well, there is some concern. You would think that that's touched the line about now. You think that's on the line, and on the line is a try. Gives you the impression then when the tape continues that he's actually got his arm under the football.
Watch your ears, boys. Yeah, cheers.
He may well have even got the football down after Slater got his arm underneath as well at the end of that little movement. But it looks as though he got it on the line to start with, and Chris Ward will spin up a try for Manly. It makes it 16 points to 6. It'll be 18-6 off the back of Michael Witt's conversion attempts. And Manly on their way perhaps to making it 3 from 3 to start the season.
Well, they needed to go in at half-time with plenty of points under the board because they've played some good footy, as I said before. Completions have been great. Unlucky to come off Brett White's feet, but it's a surprise tactic that Manly have used. Kicking early in the tackle count, confusing the back 3 for the opposition team. And Shane Dunley makes an impact every time he takes part of the football game.
Witt from beside the post gives them the extra 2 points. It is 18 points to 6. What a handy lead, Greg.
Yeah, it certainly is, isn't it? They've certainly taken advantage of all that possession they've had. The Storm making too many errors, and on this sort of day, it's really sapping the energy levels of these players. Now, that's his 3rd try. Shane Dunley, he certainly does spark the side when he comes off the bench. Got a bit of luck there off the foot of the Melbourne Storm player, but he put himself in a position to take advantage of it.
Was good hands to come up with the ball as Smith gets his back underway, and Monaghan will let it bounce before giving it to Brent Kite, who's picked up a lot of metres again this afternoon. Dunley goes to his right-hand side to give it to Harris. Stopped there by Hoffman and also King. I'll keep it going that way. He shows it from dummy half and picks up 10 metres. And Manly have been impressive, getting it out of their own 20. They've got it across the halfway stripe on a number of occasions with these sets from kickoffs. It has had Melbourne on the rack trying to bring it away from their own end off the back of kicks. And here's Witt once again, going in behind them. Dyer will leave it for Slater, who will link up with his winger. He comes back out towards the 30. But another impressive set from Manly. They're doing it in a composed way at the moment.
Well, they're composed with the football, but the thing I like about Manly is the way that they're defending. They're aggressive when they have to. Their line speed has been terrific all afternoon, and their technique has been impressive. First man in or around the waist, driving in with the shoulders. Hasn't been too many offloads for the Melbourne Storm. It's been made easier with the Melbourne Storm with those players out because there's been no pass in their game. Usually they like to pass. Interchange short passing with the forwards. There's none of that here this afternoon.
Smith will grab her for the in-goal area. They'd love 6 more tackles here to put some pressure on Manly before the break, and they'll get them as well. Lovely little kick there from Cameron Smith. He gives them so many options from dummy half.
He's a smart player, Cameron Smith. You talk about composure with the Manly side. Cameron Smith, still only a young man, 21 years of age. He in himself shows plenty of composure. He makes the right decisions. He executes very well. And he's a left foot kick down a short side. You've got to be aware when you're defending on the right edge. It's a big play coming up for the Manly and the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne love to get a 4-pointer here.
Here is White. He will play 30 out with 2 minutes left in this first half. Converted try to get it back within 6 at half-time is what they're after as Kearns works it down midfield, 20 away. Smith will keep it going to Hoffman. In fact, he finds Orford, who comes back to this right-hand side. Slater, such a danger whenever he touches the ball. It came back to Orford. There wasn't much happening for the captain and half-back there, but he'll play it 10 away. 3 tackles gone. Smith works to Cronk, who takes on the line and reaches out to score. Terrific play. He is such a bonus coming off the bench for the Melbourne Storm. And they've picked up a very important try here.
Massive try for Melbourne. 18-6. It's a long way to come back from, even though there's 40 minutes to go with the way that they were playing. But Cooper Cronk striding out. Stretches out of the tackle. Does he place the ball on the line? Well, this could be short.
Well, the play's not over just yet. There's the ball you would have thought on the line there.
Yep. No, that's a 4-pointer. The momentum carries him across. I've got no doubt it's not a penalty try, as in a double movement. I think the momentum continues on. You see him there coming up short where he's placed the football, and then the momentum continues. You would think that the ball's on the line there. This will give us a better angle at it.
Stewart came across and tried to get a foot underneath the ball at that point in time. No Manly player really has hold of Cooper Cronk. Watmough, I think you might find, is in touch with his lower leg, but he certainly hasn't tackled him as such. And Cronk, with his momentum going on, has found the ball on the line at the end. And you would think, having had a look at this from various angles, our video referee Chris Ward once again will flash up the try sign for Melbourne. They wait on nervously, as do the Melbourne Storm fans here. Everybody turns to the big screen once more. A try it is. They have hit back just when they needed to. Cooper Cronk scores, and Michael Monaghan is unhappy. Stephen Clark has called him out.
What he's done, he's given benefit of the doubt.
You can't give benefit of the doubt if you're short of the line.
Michael, he's given benefit of the doubt. He's awarded a try. End of story. And I suggest you, Michael, I've spoken to you about the way you speak to me. Consider that your first warning. Away you go.
There's a bit of history between Stephen Clark and Michael Monaghan, and well, Michael Monaghan has made his opinion looking at the big screen here, but really I thought there was no benefit of the doubt needed to come into it. It looked as though it was a try.
Oh, I thought it was a try too. Especially when the tackle continues on and the momentum takes him to the line. I like the way Stephen Clark handled that. Gave him the first warning, spoke to him in a decent manner.
Cameron Smith can get them back within a converted try here. And this will do us pretty much for action in this first half. 5 tries in total in it. 3 to Manly and 2 to Melbourne. And the last of those Manly tries to Dudley is the difference here at the moment. Smith's kick, hooking back. It sails between the posts. And the Melbourne Storm, what a time to score. They've narrowed this lead to 6. It's Manly 18 who lead Melbourne 12. There it is again. Craig Bellamy was relieved to see that try sign flash up. He might have been nervous the longer Chris Ward looked at it. Manly not happy though at half-time, and Michael Monaghan standing on the field at the halfway line as they troop off, waiting to speak to Steve Clark once again about what he considered was a piece of bad luck and a wrong call for Manly.
He runs short, and then the momentum and the tackle end up the ball on the line.
He's about to win a fossil solid stainless steel watch with 3-handed date valued at over $185. Today's lucky winner is Section E of the James.
Well, Michael Monaghan might be better off saving his voice and arguing with the video referee. Steve Clark had no part to play in it. We'll take a break and come back to look at it right after this on NRL Sunday.